you, Todd. The adjourned regular meeting of the Civil Service Commission for December 6th, 2024 will now come to order. Welcome in-person and online attendees. If you want to provide oral comments on any of the agenda items, please be sure you follow the instructions on the first page of the agenda. If you're attending this meeting in person and you would like to pull in an agenda item for discussion, when asked, please stand and identify yourself by name or number, and we will return to your item after the consent agenda is approved. Attendees joining this meeting using the Zoom application will alert Commission staff of your intention to speak about an agenda item by using the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. Please include your name, telephone number, or other identifying feature you selected when logging in, and the agenda item number you want to speak about. Attendees who dialed in to today's meeting, please press star 9 on your telephone to raise your hand to alert Commission staff of your intention to speak about an agenda item. When called upon for you to speak, please unmute yourself using star 6 on your telephone. We will now commence with the order of business. Will the Commission Secretary please take the roll call?
Commissioner Coleman. Commissioner Fletcher.
Present.
Commissioner Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy.
Present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of November 6, 2024?
Second.
Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the Commission Secretary please record Commissioner votes?
Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy.
Aye.
Moving on to non-agenda public comment, members of the public may address any matters relating to the Civil Service Commission other than the items that are on today's agenda. The total amount of time allowed for public comment will be limited to not more than 2 minutes unless the Commission President agrees to extend the time. Do any of the attendees want to make a public comment about any matter relating to the Civil Service Commission but not on today's agenda? If so, and you joined the meeting using Zoom, please use the Q&A function on the bottom portion of the screen to inform Commission staff. If you dialed into today's meeting, you may press star 9 on your telephone to raise your hand to alert Commission staff. When called upon for you to speak, please unmute yourself using star 6 on your telephone. We will need to wait a minute in the event somebody needs to make a comment and is attempting to alert staff now. Will the executive officer please start a timer?
Yes. Commissioners, 1 minute has passed and we've received no requests to make a public comment.
Thank you. Okay, hearing none, we will now move on to agenda item discussion. Do any of the attendees want to pull in agenda item for discussion? If you're attending this meeting in person and you would like to pull an agenda item for discussion, please stand and identify yourself by name or number, and we will return to your item after the consent agenda is approved. If you are speaking for an appellant or complainant, please use their assigned number. If you joined the meeting using Zoom, please use the Q&A function on the bottom portion of the screen to inform Commission staff of the agenda item you want to speak about. If you dialed into today's meeting, you may press star 9 on your telephone to raise your hand to alert Commission staff. When called upon for you to speak, please unmute yourself using star 6 on your telephone. We will need to wait a minute in the event somebody wants to pull an agenda item and is attempting to alert staff now. Will the executive officer please start a timer?
Yes. Commissioners, we have one question from Mr. Christopher Ludmer regarding agenda item number 1. Mr. Ludmer, you can speak to this item if you want to. However, if you want to speak about this item, you'll have to do so before the decision is read. So if you want to pull that item, let us know.
Isn't the item automatically pulled?
It is, but I need to know if he wants to speak to it.
Or wouldn't he speak to it when we're reading it?
He has to speak before. Mr. Ludmer, I've allowed you to speak. You can unmute yourself and let us know. Do you want to speak about agenda item number 1?
If it's beforehand, that won't be necessary. Thank you.
Okay, yes, it can only be beforehand. So we'll note that you do not want to speak about agenda item 1. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We will now move on to formation of the consent agenda. Will the Commission Secretary announce the items forming the consent agenda?
Commissioners, agenda items 1 and 2 are automatically pulled for discussion. Therefore, agenda items 3 through 5 form our consent agenda for today.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve this consent agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the Commission Secretary please record Commissioner votes?
Commissioner Fletcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy.
Aye.
All those in present have voted aye. Moving on, now we will move on to our discussion items. The first is agenda item number 1, which is Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy's report on a discrimination investigation. Do any of the attendees want to speak about this agenda item? If so, and you joined the meeting using Zoom, please use the Q&A function on the bottom portion of the screen to alert Commission staff. If you dialed into today's meeting, you may press *9 to raise your hand to alert Commission staff. We will need to wait a minute in the event somebody wants to speak about this agenda item and is attempting to alert staff now. Will the executive officer please start a timer?
Yes. Commissioners, 1 minute has passed and we've received no request to speak about this agenda item.
Thank you. Hearing none, Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy, please proceed with your report.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Civil Service Commission appointed me, Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy, as its member to be the investigating officer. Yeah, I got the right. I'm sorry. For a moment, I thought I was I was on my wrong case. But okay. As its member to be the investigating officer in the matter of the discrimination complaints submitted by employee 2023-031 and employee 2023-032, who will be referred to as the employees. Public Defender Investigator 2s. Employees allege discrimination based on age and race by the Office of the Public Defender, which will be referred to as Department, regarding their non-selection for the classification of Public Defender Investigator 3. Additionally, employee 2023-031 alleged discrimination based on protected activity, in this case retaliation. In accordance with the established rules and procedures of the Commission, the matter was concurrently referred to the Office of Ethics and Compliance, OEC, for investigation. On the same date, employees filed their discrimination complaints, August 11, 2023. Employees also filed petitions to appeal selection process regarding their non-selection for the Public Defender Investigator 3 classification. In it, employees alleged the department's selection process decisions were biased and retaliatory. Since the employees learned that they were not selected on July 19, 2023, their petition should have been filled with the commission commission office by August 3rd, 2023. The petitions were filed on August 11th, 2023, making them 8 days late. According to the employee's representative, the delay was caused by inadvertence, and that they were not given any notice related to the failure to promote any of any deadline to file an appeal with the Civil Service Commission or any other county body, or even the right to do so. Additionally, employees' representative states that while employees were informed of the promotion's decision on July 19, 2023, both were unaware of the identities of the other applicants who were rejected until much later, on or about July 27th, 2023. They needed this information in part to compare with themselves and with the candidates promoted to have a clearer picture of the full scope of the effects of the selection process. In the interest of fairness and due process, the Commission should determine that good cause exists to accept the late petitions. Since the allegations in the petition to appeal section process were substantially similar and related to the allegations in the discrimination complaint, the petitions were held in abeyance for pending further outcome of the discrimination investigation. The OEC concluded that the discrimination investigation and has reported its findings to the Commission. I've received and reviewed the OEC's report and have taken into consideration all documentation submitted in this matter. I concur with the OEC's report and have concluded that employees' allegations of discrimination based on age and race were substantiated. Additionally, employee 2023-031's allegation of discrimination based on protected activity, in this case retaliation, is substantiated. However, there is a preponderance of the evidence to support that non-job related factors were used in the selection process for Public Defender Investigator 3, which, if true, would be a violation of Charter Section 901 and Civil Service Rule 6. Civil Service Rule 6.1.3 states, if OEC finds probable cause of a violation of Charter Section 901, the Commission shall conduct a hearing. It is therefore recommended that, number one, the employees' matters proceed to a hearing under the provisions of Civil Service Rule 6 regarding the finding of probable cause that non-job related factors were used in the selection process for Public Defender Investigator 3. 2, employees' late petitions to appeal selection process Rule 10 be accepted and granted, and that the hearing be held in conjunction with the Rule 6 hearing. 3, that I be assigned the hearing officer to conduct the hearing. 4, that the Commission approve and file this report with a finding of probable cause to believe that the employee may have been discriminated against. And 5, that a copy of this report, the discrimination complaints, and the report of OEC and the petitions to appeal selection process be served upon the parties within 5 working days of this decision, and I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Will the Commission Secretary please record Commissioner votes?
Commissioner Fletcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy.
Aye.
All commissioners present have voted aye. Now we'll move on to agenda item 2, which is Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy's report on a discipline hearing. Do any of the attendees want to speak about this agenda item? If so, and you joined the meeting using Zoom, please use the Q&A function on the bottom portion of the screen to alert Commission staff. If you dialed into today's meeting, you may press *9 to raise your hand to alert Commission staff. We will need to wait a minute in the event somebody wants to speak about this agenda item and is attempting to alert staff now. Will the Commission Secretary please start a timer?
Yes. Commissioners, 1 minute has passed and we received no requests to speak about this agenda item.
Okay, hearing none, Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy, please proceed with your report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appellant 2024-001, who will be referred to as employee, appealed a final order of removal on charges removing her from the class and position of residential care worker 2 in the Health and Human Services Agency, and this who will be referred to as the department, was presented to the Civil Service Commission. The commission appointed myself, Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy, to hear the appeal and submit findings, conclusions, and recommendations to the Civil Service Commission. Thereafter, the matter was duly noticed and a hearing was held on November 7th, 2024. The causes of discipline were negligence, inefficiency, and conduct unbecoming of an employee of the county for sleeping on the job and failure to adequately supervise a youth at Polinsky Children's Center. Statement of facts and findings. The appeal in this matter was filed on January 9th, 2024 by Employees Representative SEIU Local 221. As early as January 25th, 2024, the employee was aware that SEIU Local 221 would not be representing them in this matter. Subsequently, multiple attempts were made by staff to contact the employee to confirm that she still wanted to go forward with her appeal. Initially, the employee stated that she wanted to proceed with the appeal. However, she was not productively responding to staff's attempts to schedule a hearing. Since March 2024, employee did not respond to staff's many emails and phone calls. On one occasion, the commission secretary was able to make phone contact with the employee. The commission secretary explained to her why she was calling, and the employee hung up on her. Staff continued to call and email employee, but there was no answer or response to the many attempted contacts. Finally, staff sent letters on 2 separate occasions to employee's mailing address, but again, there was no response. In the letter, which staff also emailed to her, employee was informed that if she failed to contact us, her appeal would be considered abandoned. Staff still did not receive a response, and staff had not been informed of any forwarding of address for the employee. Staff prepared a staff report for the commission to consider deeming the employee's appeal abandoned and placed the item on the agenda of the commission's August 7th, 2024 regular meeting. Copies of the staff report and meeting agenda were sent to the employee's last known email and mailing addresses, notifying her of the recommendation to deem her appeal abandoned. 1 hour before the August 7th commission meeting, employee emailed the commission and stated, quote, "I am not abandoning my appeal," end quote, and further requested that staff, quote, "Please stop harassing me with repeated emails and phone calls while I have expressed I will contact you when I'm ready to appeal," period, end quote. After consulting with the hearing officer and the commission's legal advisor, it was decided to take the item off the agenda and give employee one more opportunity to participate in our hearing. Thereafter, the commission's executive officer informed employee that staff would schedule the hearing forthwith. Employee was informed that if she is non-responsive to staff's attempts to contact her, the hearing date will be set without employee's input. Additionally, the employee was made aware that if she refused or failed to appear at the hearing, the commission may dismiss the appeal and affirm the order of removal. The commission secretary reached out to the employee on several occasions, done by phone, email, and U.S. mail, about setting the hearing, but there was no response. Subsequently, on September 4th, 2024, the employee's hearing was set for Thursday, November 7th, 2024. The scheduling letter was sent to employee via email and U.S. mail. Again, there was no response or acknowledgement from the employee. Approximately 2 weeks before the hearing date, there were additional attempts by staff to contact the employee about the hearing, but there were no response. On November 7, 2024 at 9 a.m., the time and place set for the hearing, the employee was not present. The hearing was convened at 9:15 a.m. After noting the employee was not present, the hearing was recessed until 9:30 a.m. to allow ample time for the employee to appear for her hearing. After resuming, the department was asked to summarize their attempted contacts with the employee and whether she responded. Ramona Maj, Senior Departmental Human Resources Officer, stated they attempted contact by phone and email on October 30th, November 5th, and November 6th, 2024, including 2 times via text. Employee did not respond to any of these attempted contacts. The department moved to have its exhibits 1 through 16 outlining the department's case in support of the final order of removal and charges be accepted into evidence. There being no opposition due to the employee's absence from the proceeding, the hearing officer granted the motion. Based on the evidence presented by the department and the circumstances recited herein, the hearing officer, having found employee failed to appear for her hearing after being duly noticed, cited Civil Service Rule 7.7.5, which provides that if the employee refuses to appear or fails to appear, the commission may dismiss the appeal and affirm the order of removal. The hearing was then adjourned. Based on the above, I hereby recommend the following decision. That the commission, number one, that the commission determine that employee's appeal be dismissed for failing to appear at the duly noticed hearing. Number two, that the evidence presented by the department supports the charges set forth as causes of discipline therein and herein. Number three, that the department's final order of removal and charges be affirmed. And number four, that the proposed decision shall become effective upon the date of approval by the Civil Service Commission, and I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Will the Commission Secretary please record Commissioner votes?
Commissioner Fletcher, Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez Kennedy,
Aye.
Thank you. All commissioners present have voted aye. That concludes today's meeting. Thank you for attending. The next commission meeting is scheduled for January 15th, 2025. This meeting is adjourned.